and that he becomes the rewarder of those earnestly seeking him. So we must believe that Jehovah is the rewarder of those earnestly seeking him. So what we'd like to do now is interview ones from our circuit who have faced intimidating situations but who've had confidence in Jehovah. Okay, so first of all I'd like to introduce you to Gabby Crooks in the middle left from the Skelmersdale congregation. So first of all, Gabby, would you like to tell us how old you are, please?
5.
5 years old. Very good. Now, what difficult situation did you face at school, Gabby?
Well, I had an Easter egg raffle and there was lots of tickets and I didn't have a ticket and Alice won 2 Easter eggs and she gave one to me, but I gave it back.
Excellent. So there was that raffle. You ended up with an Easter egg and you gave it back. That must have been really hard. How did you feel having to do that, Gabby?
Nervous.
I'm not surprised, but you did really well on your own in that classroom, making that stand. And I believe you got some Haribos, didn't you, afterwards for doing that? So well done. Thank you, Gabby. What we're going to do now is speak to your big brother, Joshua Crooks, an unbaptised publisher. So we'll ask Joshua, how old are you, Joshua?
12.
Okay. Now, what difficult situation did you face at school?
One of the situations I faced at school was when we were all given a booklet to film about the Christmas story. I told my teacher that I did not believe in the Christmas story. She was a bit angry and pulled off the front cover which said Christmas and told me to film the rest. But then when I read inside, it said that Mary gave birth to God. So I had to explain again that I could not film the booklet because I did not believe this.
Wow, that was a real challenge, wasn't it? How did you feel having to do that, Joshua?
I felt quite intimidated because she seemed to be getting a bit angry.
Right, that's right. Now, that wasn't the only thing. Before I go to that, how did confidence in Jehovah help you to make that stand?
It helped because I had confidence that he would be pleased with me for doing the right thing.
I'm sure he definitely was. Now, that wasn't the only situation that you faced at school. There was something else. Would you like to tell the brothers what else you faced?
Another situation I faced was at my school Leaves Awards evening, and my class was performing on stage, and at the end they sung the national anthem. I remained silent, and it was quite stressful as the whole school and all the parents were watching us on stage, and I was the only one not singing.
Dear me, so you're facing challenges. Joshua, how did you feel facing that one?
Although I was conscious of everyone watching me, I also felt proud because I knew I was pleasing Jehovah.
I'm sure Jehovah was proud of you and your mum and dad because they were in the audience that day. And you faced many other situations, but you've done really well. Thank you very much, Joshua, for sharing those experiences with us. Now we have Sister Sue Johnson. Now I'm not going to ask Sister Sue Johnson how old she is because that would be rude, wouldn't it? But I'm going to ask Sister Johnson, how long have you been in the truth for?
My mum learned the truth just as I was born, and that was 64 years ago.
Okay, she's given it away now. Okay. Now would you like to tell us what the situation at home was as a youngster?
Well, Dad and my 4 older brothers never accepted the truth. They were business people, determined to do well in the world. Big houses, big cars. But Jehovah's worship was always ridiculed, always looked down upon. They're always trying to pick faults.
So a difficult situation. Now, at what point did you need to make Jehovah your confidence?
When I was in school, in a grammar school, I was feeling uncomfortable about being a Jehovah's Witness. I wasn't happy about being ridiculed and looked down on. So I purposely set about disproving the truth, trying to show Mum why the Bible was wrong and why what we learned at the Kingdom Hall was wrong. But by doing that honestly, I found the truth of God's Word, the historical accuracy, the scientific accuracy fascinated me. So I began to love God's Word, but most of all, to love its author, Jehovah God.
Excellent. Now, what specific challenge did you face?
I was baptised at 16. When I was 18, I decided I wanted to regular pioneer. So I took courage and put this to Dad and to the family. Dad was very much against it. He said he was no longer going to keep a roof over my head if I was going to throw away my education and all the opportunities I could have for the future. So I had there and then to make plans to move away from home to build a pioneer. But what was perhaps even more difficult than that was I had quite a responsible job that my oldest brother had given me in one of the family businesses. We were very, very close. He was a sort of soulmate to me, but always had been. So the idea of facing him to put the situation was not at all easy at all. And he just said that he was very disappointed that he couldn't share with all the nice things he had in store for me, learning to drive, getting a car, everything like that.
It's a very difficult situation there. Now, if you hadn't made Jehovah your confidence, where do you think you'd be now?
Possibly successful, like then, big houses, big cars, but no life fulfillment, no relationship with Jehovah, which was most important of all. And later on in life, I was able to care for my dad in his old age when Mum had died. My oldest brother, who stayed fairly close, but he said at the end, he said, what have we missed in life? So he said, you've got something that we haven't got. He says, do you know that we envy you?
Well, thank you very much, Sister Johnson, for sharing those experiences, and to Joshua and Gabby as well. I'm sure you'll appreciate them sharing those experiences.